Hello, welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We are continuing on with our series of, our series on tarot messages by Human Design Profile. So I snagged a post from the Instagram of Jess Fields. I will link their Instagram, of course, in the description below. Highly recommend checking out their page. They post a lot of great information on all things human design. So, like I said, this post in particular was, of course, about the profiles. And here's what it says. With a 6 in your profile, you are on a lifelong mission for objective truth. You're driven to find the wisdom in any given situation or relationship. Others seek you out for your objective and wise perspective. Your influence is most powerful when you live out your own values for others to see. And with a 2 in your profile, you likely love to do things in a way that feels natural to you. As you do your thing in your way, others will see you and call you into something new. It's up to you to decide if it's the right call and if you're going to say yes. If you say yes to too many wrong calls, you'll eventually burn out. So make sure you mind your energy and say yes only when it feels right to you. I also realized that I didn't say. So if you're here, you would be a role model hermit or a 6-2 profile in human design. If you don't know what your human design profile is, I'm glad you clicked on the video anyway. And there's also a link in the description below where you can get your human design body graph. So along with a lot of other great information regarding your design, it'll also provide you with your profile. And then of course you can head over to the corresponding video. So we'll shuffle with a little more intention here. I just want to say, just in the event that you didn't see my video that I posted a few days ago, I am going to be taking a breaky poo. Tomorrow is actually going to be the last day that I'm going to post daily messages. And basically I'm going to be taking the break from tomorrow through the end of October. So I plan to be back for November messages. That's the plan. Anyway, I'll definitely be back because I love talking to you guys. So yeah, you can find that on my page. I also just realized within the last day that tomorrow also starts Mercury retrograde. So it's interesting that that lined up that way. So I'm just kind of curious. I'm just kind of curious to see how the next couple weeks unfold. I'm doing my best, speaking of course, human design, I'm doing my best to follow my strategy and authority. I'm a manifesting generator with emotional authority, 5-1 profile. So I'm trying to do my best to stay out of my head and, like I said, just follow my strategy and authority, because there's definitely a lot of anxiety, which I mentioned kind of briefly in that video, but it's all coming from my head. And really, in my body, I know that this is the best thing. It's a good time, all of that. So let's talk about you. We're looking for a message for our 6-2 role model hermits. And I am so sorry, when I start doing these messages, I just get a little burpy. So I try my best to be discreet about it. But if I ever kind of stop talking for a second anyway, I don't want you to think I'm being rude. Okay, I know we're getting there. There we go. Okay. All right, here we go. We have the Two of Earth, or the Two of Pentacles. 8 of Air, or the 8 of Swords. Haya of Water. I'm going to have to look that up. I want to say it's the Queen, but it could be the Page of Cups. We have the Star, the Haya of Air, or the something of Swords, and then the 9 of Swords. Very interesting. The Emperor at the bottom of the deck. Very interesting. Okay, let me look up these two. Okay. My Taurus sun has to make sure that everything is in the frame and straight and all of that, as much as it can be, I guess. Okay. Let's see here. It's the Page. The Page of Cups and the Page of Swords. Very interesting. I mean, we're definitely going to be reading the book on a couple of these. I love how this author interprets the tarot also. So anyway, I mean, we will definitely be checking that out. Okay. So we start with the Two of Earth, or the Two of Pentacles, which generally talks about juggling responsibilities. It also talks about things balancing out, kind of a balancing act. Because, we start with the Ace of Pentacles, right? Which is new money, a new job, new opportunity. It's an ace, so it's the beginning. And then we move on to the 2, and it's like, okay, how are we going to work this in to our daily tasks, right? Or how am I going to kind of shift other things around so that this thing can work? But also, if it's more money coming in, then it causes there to be a shift in balance, whether, that's helping the balance. And it's also, too, a good reminder about kind of not going the extreme one way or the other, so that things don't become imbalanced, right? I love this imagery too. It's so pretty. And even going into winter, even though it doesn't necessarily look winter, because obviously we have blooms here, but this just looks like snow back here. So, maybe this, the shift in balance, maybe that's coming or will be coming this winter. Then we have the Star card. And the Star talks about hopes, dreams. It's a lot about trusting the process also. So, I mean, like literally with these two paired together, it's almost like trying to manifest some sort of balance here. That could be with your job, that could be with your finances, it could be with your time. Earth or Pentacles also has to do with a physical body, so that could be a focus. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Know your limits and respect them. Proclaim your truth. Walk out through the gate. I kind of want to just see what the Two of Earth has to say. Full hands, rich life. Balance on the edges of depth and lightness. Find joy in each moment. The Eight of Swords generally talks about kind of like a self-inflicted mind prison. It's, when we kind of get into that cycle, or when we just kind of get like almost frozen in fear, like not wanting to make a decision, but also fearing the outcome. It could even be a fear of success. It's limiting beliefs. It's the doubts. It's like, all of that stuff that kind of prevents us from doing a thing. It's kind of like, this gate is open. And I know it mentioned in the book, like walking through the gate. It's like literally, you're one decision away from changing your mind. We're always one decision away from changing our minds, right? Even though like it really doesn't feel that way sometimes, or, sometimes it feels harder to just make that one decision, which is the energy of the Eight of Swords, because it's really only as hard as we make it out to be. And, if you're anything like me, you love making things hard for yourself. Because I definitely do that. And then we have the Page of Swords here. I'm kind of just loving these keywords. So, return to beginner's mind. First thought is the best thought. Make mischief with a sleeping cat. So we have this cat sleeping in catnip. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, with these two paired together, I mean, it is like, it's either two, like maybe you don't want to start something new. Because you don't want to go back to the beginner's mindset. Like you don't want to go back to not knowing what you're doing, or, like when you start a new job, like, yeah, you might have experience in the same field, but you still have to learn like new processes, new procedures, new systems and software and all of that, and especially, if you're trying to learn a new craft or even learning about human design, right? Because it's kind of like a brand new, and it's not brand new, but, it would be new to you, language. And it's a lot. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of information out there. Just to give examples, of course, I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to be, it's just this feeling of, it could even be struggling to come up with a new idea. Like maybe you're just kind of not sure what you want to actually do or how you want to move forward. And it's kind of like, I'm just kind of hoping that it just kind of hits me one day. And, the Page of Swords is, like it said, it's having that energy of a beginner. It's really kind of being open-minded, not attaching anything to the thoughts that come into your head. It's kind of like just letting them come in, swirl around, and deciding if there's anything in those ideas that you want to even try to explore. And then we have the Page of Water, or the Page of Cups. And it says, return refreshed to a beginner's heart. Tender heart, big dreams, calm your spirit when emotions run awry. And then the Nine of Air, or the Nine of Swords down here, no love, no grief. No as in K-N-O-W. Claim your underworld crown. You are the sky, everything else is the weather. That's kind of cool. I don't know, write that down. Let go of what you can't control. Pomegranate is the tree that leads to Demeter's agonizing loss in the Greek myth. Her daughter Persephone consumes the seeds and seals her fate as queen of the underworld. As a hike through the desert will prove, pain is one path to wisdom. When heartache enters your life, do not run away. When you are ready, quench the thirst of guilt, regret, and worry. Invite in forgiveness. So we have these two cards that talk about a beginner's mindset and a beginner's heart here, because water has to do with our emotions, right? Our emotional body. And then the Nine of Air, or the Nine of Swords. And I love that we have this progression right away, because you might still kind of be, the Nine of Swords generally talks about, anxiety, keeping yourself up at night, losing sleep, like just being stressed out. But the good thing is the 9 is individual completion. It's kind of like, the worst of it is over. When we get to the 10 of Swords, it is actually over. But like I said, with the 9 of Swords, like you feel in your head, it's like the stress may still be there, But it's not like, there's not like there's other stuff compounding on top of it. And I also love how it's paired with a water card, because these two very heavy, right? And in the realm of human design, we don't make decisions from the head space, because the head space is a pressure center. The head and the root are pressure centers. So we don't make decisions based on that pressure, but it is uncomfortable, and it can be uncomfortable to have an idea, kind of come into your mind, and then, have that immediate pressure right behind it to do something with it. But, we let it sink into our body. We let it go through our strategy and authority, whatever that is for you, and determine, is this something, like it was saying with that second line, is this something I want to say yes to or not? Is this a correct experience for me to enter into or not yet? And it's also like, it might be slow moving, but it does kind of start bringing you out of this Eight of Swords energy and into the Nine of Swords energy, so you can just kind of flow through it. We have the Emperor at the bottom of the deck, and the Emperor is confident. This is divine masculine energy, not gender, just just the energy, so it's about initiation. Going after what you want. There could even be a bit of arrogance in here. They're also an authority, speaking of strategy and authority, but the Emperor is all of the kings in one suit. So you have the highest expression of each suit as the Emperor. We have the Five of Swords here, which talks about, I see this as being the card of like a battle of wits, whether it's a battle within yourself or a battle, like with other people, just in the sense of, like competition, feeling competitive. A field that you're trying to get into, or, there could just be, it could be a competitive market type of thing. We have the Eight of Earth, or the Eight of Pentacles, which talks about work. What are you spending your time and energy on? But also it talks about practice, focusing your energy on something in order to master it. And let me see, I want to say this is, okay, this is the Knight. We have the Knight of Cups here, which is an offer. I love that, there's a cup being full here, or filled, I should say, excuse me. I love this. So even, it's like, being confident here, like making a decision and being confident about it, right? Even if it's competitive, even if, you have to put in a little bit more mental energy, focusing on it to become masterful. It's like other people will recognize you, again, going back to that sixth line, but also the second line, right? Because the sixth line was saying it's best recognized when you're living your values in your own life. And the second line is like, other people are going to recognize your gifts and call you out on them. And that's what this is. The Six of Fire or the Six of Wands is literal success. This also talks about like having a circle of friends. It doesn't necessarily, I mean, you know, it could be a network, it could be a job, it could be community, right? It could be just, you know, the people who you influence around you. So it's kind of like, you know, like if you're feeling apathetic, or, you know, if you're just even feeling, I mean, I guess like bored falls under the realm of apathetic, but it's almost kind of like there's a message here about like showing up as yourself. Like it's almost kind of like there's not really anything else that you like really need to do other than showing up as yourself. And maybe that's what's hard here. Like maybe that's what the struggle is. Maybe there's, you know, imposter syndrome, or of course, you know, the self-talk that we have, right? But no, you know, like you being you is literally good enough. And people will recognize you and call you out, or even just be, you know, kind of gravitate towards you. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.